And it's a good thing that making friends is so easy for the girls because the practices sure are not. No matter what degree or certification they're getting, it's the relationships built along the way that will mutually benefit and stick with these students for life. Here at Fresno State is where most students have their first opportunity to encounter theater. But what about after they graduate? Renee's custom falls in line perfectly with the trend of inclusive fashion. Instead of paying high-end prices for new clothes, why not recycle the clothes you already have at a lower price, all while supporting a fellow Fresno State student? Thanks, Al. And yes, behind us, the opening of the MK Gandhi Center here in the third floor of the Fresno State Library is happening, and I'm joined by the esteemed guest speaker of the President's Lecture Series, Malika Chopra. Malika, how are you?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you, Malika. Malika, can you tell me a little bit about your lecture and what you're going to talk about today?
So I'm here for the launch of the MK Gandhi Center. As you can see, they are launching that now.
Well, Malika, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Malika will be speaking in the RSU after this at 5 p.m. We urge you after the newscast to try to get over there. For now, we're just going to go ahead and listen to these guys, and I'm going to send it right back to you, Cynthia and Al. And Measure E is back on the ballot after being shot down by voters last year. Supporters of the initiative are hoping that with a few revisions, Measure E will help raise $60 million or more for Fresno State. Measure E is an additional sales tax in Fresno County meant to fund specific programs and infrastructure at Fresno State. When it was first proposed in November of 2022, it lost 47.17% to 52.86%. Since then, several changes have been made to Measure E. For instance, whereas the 2022 version of Measure E was an 8-cent tax on every $4, the 2023 version is only 1 cent on every $4. The 2022 version of Measure E wanted 1/3 of the funds to go towards athletics, the new version only 15%. Regardless of these changes, some people, like District 6 Council member Gary Brennefield, strongly oppose Measure E.
CSU tuition has just gone up, and this is where some of the money should come from to meet Fresno State's needs. The other source should clearly be the CSU system itself, just as San Diego State University received $660 million for their stadium and other needs.
Brennefield also stated that he feels that Fresnans' pockets shouldn't be the ones that are reached into when some of Fresno State students aren't even from Fresno. But others, like Paul Lake, are glad to see that Measure E is back on the ballot and are excited to see the big impact of a little donation.
It's our responsibility as citizens to support our community. I mean, I know that, there is such a thing as too much taxes to pay, but this is tiny. It's not much. We can afford it, and we're all going to benefit from it.
And Measure E, if passed, will be in effect for 20 years. So remember, on November 7th, not only does your vote matter, it will matter for years to come.
I downloaded TikTok as because I just wanted some sort of entertainment, but it's honestly like the best way to get out there and just self-promote.
Before taking on the persona of Dust Bowl champion, Jaron De La Cruz was just a kid making music with friends like Adam Lopez.
He had a band before in high school. They were called Lonesome Twins, and I remember him putting out music as that. And then he just switched it out of nowhere.
Since the name change, Jaron has gained thousands and thousands of views on TikTok. His songs Shake and You have gone viral on TikTok and YouTube respectively. Jaron has even been able to play at the Roxy Theater in West Hollywood.
Oh, dude, I feel like I was more excited than him. I was like, hey, did you know that this song has this many on YouTube? And he was like, what? No. He doesn't pay attention to that stuff. I feel like I'm his hype man, pretty much. I was excited. It's cool seeing, my best friend, grow into these heights that, I never would have imagined just from, doing something that he loves.
It's something out of a dream, only it's actually something Jaron never dreamt of.
Never in a million years thought I'd get to even play for anyone or have anyone like the music that I'm playing.
Despite his own expectations, Jaron's music continues to gain the attention of people everywhere.
I would describe the vibe as eerie. I love that sound. It's kind of like you have headphones on when you don't. And I think the sound that he brings is kind of nostalgic and I would say renovated because it's like a newer sound. He's kind of reviving old trends, and I think it's really neat that, you know, we have Fresno artists like that.
Jaron hasn't let the attention or admiration go to his head, but it has helped him feel more confident calling himself an artist.
I never really felt like an established artist before that, but playing the shows and getting all this, all the feedback, it's really encouraging and really makes me feel like an artist.
The Big Tell is a short documentary film contest for Central Valley filmmakers of all levels, where 10 winners are selected. It's put together by the James B. McClatchy Foundation, the Central Valley Community Foundation, and the Community Media Access Collaborative.
Really the goal of the Big Tell is to tell untold or undiscovered stories from the Central Valley.
On November 17th, these short films were showcased at Maya Cinema, including the film of Fresno State alumni Jason Young.
So how I found the subject of my film, his name is Jeffrey. I met him on another set I was DPing for. It was my friend George's short film. So then that's how I met Jeffrey. And then he was just openly telling someone else his story. And then the way he was telling it, it just felt like, it felt like he was in the space to talk about it and share it, and how it's like a positive story. So I heard that and how he was with a stranger. So then I was like, you know what, he'll be great in front of the camera. So then I asked him, and he said, yeah.
The film Stubborn is about a Valley musician, Jeffrey Holmes, and his struggle with Guillain-Barré syndrome, or GBS.
He had Guillain-Barré, and that made him like not be able to, or it paralyzed him from the neck down at one point. So after hearing the story and just like really thinking about how it must feel, him being able to play, because he's a guitarist, he also plays some piano, but how it feels to just know a chord that you learned, because like that was just another tool for you to express how you're feeling at the time. Yeah, then I don't know, that's how I thought about it. Was like,
The emotional film was shown in a private screening that included Big Tell organizers, film subjects, film directors, and their esteemed guests.
It was really nice seeing all my friends there. So it was cool sharing it, because, you know, I feel like the smaller videos are never really celebrated. Like, you make a video online, you just take it out there. It feels like you just throw it into the void, which is like, that's cool, I guess. But this one felt like more of an event, because I'm like, hey, you guys have to fucking watch this. Because if I post it on the internet, someone's gonna see it, they're gonna see it's 5 minutes, they're like, okay, I'm not gonna watch this. Like, what kind of TikTok is this? And they're like, no. So then this one, I'm like, you have to watch it. And then like now I'm like, it's like, it's forcing them to interact with what I did. So I think that was like really cool, because I'm like, okay, you guys are all here to watch the films, but I want to be the one where they're like, oh, that was like the best one, because I think that makes me feel better too. It's like a feedback loop. But it's not about doing it for the people, but it is cool when people react to it.
As far as future projects go, only time will tell what other Valley creatives become inspired by Jason and his work and decide to share their own.
You have to make a bunch of stuff, because it's not going to get any better unless you do it. So yeah. Like, I think it's healthy to watch something. Like, I think it's healthy to watch your old work sometimes, and then especially because like if you don't cringe at it, I feel like there might not have been growth. So it's good to cringe at your old work. So yeah, so you can make bad things, have fun.
For Fresno State, this is Marco Rosas, MCJ 121.